Welcome back. It's time for the Small Business Spotlight. Many small businesses have a tough time devoting the right amount of time and resources to employee wellness, whether it be health, education, and coaching, helping employees lose the weight they want to lose, or helping them to stop smoking. It's tough to decide how much of an investment to make. So joining us to discuss wellness in the workplace is Ethan Gill, Chief Administrative Officer at MHM Services, and Marissa Levin, CEO of Successful Culture, among many other titles that you carry. Welcome to you both. Ethan, I want to start with you because you're a good mentor in teaching others how to do this, and you practice what you preach. Let's start with the why it's important to teach wellness, not just offer health insurance in the workplace.
Yes, thank you very much, Rebecca. There's really three primary reasons why wellness is important to an organization. First and foremost, a wellness strategy helps improve the health outcomes for the participants in their health plans. That helps the business from a cost perspective. 75% of the costs are attributed to chronic illnesses, and many of which can be prevented. Second factor is it relates to employee health and well-being, which for a business or an organization translates to productivity. The costs related to reduced productivity for wellness are multiples of the actual healthcare expenses themselves. And the third reason is to improve employee retention and employee morale.
Marissa, he's singing every small business's song, maintaining healthcare costs, keeping up productivity, and engaged employees. How do you see it from your perspective?
So as a business owner, we want to make sure that we are attracting the best talent, and if we can provide really strong wellness programs and preventive maintenance programs for their health, then we're going to obviously attract great talent, and we're going to be able to keep great talent. And as I work with so many small businesses across the region, and they're in a talent war, this is definitely a huge strategic advantage that they can offer.
So let's talk about the how. You're not saying that everyone has to have a treadmill at their desk and
Sure.
2-hour lunch break to go to the local gym and exercise. You say there are some really productive ways you can get this done. Talk to us a little bit about the how.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really 5 principles, I think, when an organization is developing a wellness strategy. The first is really piggybacking off what Marissa said, the tone at the top, and the executive team's got to buy into it. These are not HR projects. HR can help facilitate, but the executive team's got to be on board.
When I've seen CEOs jump in and even do the weight loss strategy, it just seems to catch fire with everyone.
It absolutely does. And so in an organization, if their executives are willing to do that, of course the staff want to jump on board with that. Other things that can really strongly influence the how to implement these programs are making sure you have the right partners. So most small and mid-sized businesses, large businesses even have brokers as well as carriers, all of which have skin in the game here. Carriers don't want healthcare costs to increase, so you got to play to those organizations' strengths. But at the end of the day, the business leadership has got to determine what makes the most sense for their business.
Since there is such a bottom line, Marissa, weigh in on what you think the CEO can do to influence why everyone would engage in this. It can be a little tricky talking to people about their health, their weight, their smoking habits.
Well, you know, as a CEO of a company that had a lot of employees, definitely I feel that all leadership is always under the microscope, the way that we conduct ourselves. And that includes not just what goes on inside the office, but what goes on outside the office.
And how do you then get to that tricky conversation? Do you approach people individually, or you just try and set the tone for the whole office?
I believe that you set the tone for the entire office. You do really have to walk a very fine line. I mean, that is an HR issue. You cannot wade into their personal life. But we, as the leadership, we do need to set the tone on what we think will be best for not just the whole company, but for the employee as well. And at Information Experts, when we were in our last office space, we specifically picked it because it was next to a gym, it was off the W&OD trail, and we even had showers in there.
And employees love that. I used to bike to my old job at CNN because we had great shower facilities, and we have the same thing here. Ethan, talk a little bit about how you practice what you preach at your own company.
Yeah, absolutely. So from us, we've taken to the point of the intrusiveness or potential drawbacks of a wellness strategy. We've taken the carrot-based approach as we've been implementing our programs. So we've got monetary incentives for people that are getting physicals completed on an annual basis. When we first implemented about a $200 a year monetary incentive, we saw those numbers go from 30% of people getting physicals to over 70% of people getting physicals.
Yep, money talks.
We pay a few $100s a year for people to do weight management programs. We've done things to reduce the cost of medications for chronic illnesses. We've implemented telemedicine to reduce the copay, as well as increase the accessibility for participation in our programs.
We've got to wrap, but overall, it's working.
Absolutely.
Marissa Levin, good tips for the new year, a healthy way for small businesses to get going on the right track, and the employees too. Ethan Gill, thanks for joining us.